In November 2018, John Allenchau, an American man, was killed by the members of the Sentinels tribe.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel with me Myrna here, and today I'm going to talk about Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Well, it's quite over the rainbow, but then it's an isolated place, a place that you are not advised to go if you still want your life. So it's about the Sentinel Island. North Sentinel Island is one of the Andaman Islands.
North Sentinel Island is one of the most dangerous islands in the world. It is located in the Andaman Island. It is an archipelago in the Bay of Bengal, which also includes South Sentinel Island.
So, why it is said that no one can enter the Sentinel Island?
Not because of poisonous spiders or snakes, and certainly not an ancient curse. It's just this island is the home to most unusual people on Earth. On a small square of land, there lives anywhere from 15 to 400 people. These people called the Sentinels. They have been living there for about 60,000 years in almost complete self-isolation. There is no records about what had happened and is happening here. Even we cannot use the help of the satellite images as the island is covered in dense forest. And yes, these are people who have no idea what Bitcoin is, global warming, and Netflix are. And surely they don't even know what horse is.
They vigorously reject the contact of outsiders, and they have captured imaginations of millions. They live on their small forested island there, which is approximately is the size of Manhattan. They continue resist all the contacts from the outsiders and even attacking anyone who comes near. The tribe actually has made it clear that they don't want the contact of outsiders. Well, it is a wise choice because the neighboring tribe was wiped out after the British came and colonized them. And they lack immunity to most common diseases such as flu, measles, and things, which would decrease their population. In the late 1800s, M.V. Portman, the British officer in charge of the Andamanese, landed with a large team on North Sentinel Island in the hope of contacting the Sentinels. The party included trackers from Andamanese tribes who had already made contact with the British officers and convicts. They found recently abandoned villages and paths, but the Sentinels were nowhere to be seen. After a few days, they came across an elderly couple and some children who, in the interest of science, were taken to Port Blair, the island capital. Predictably, they soon fell ill and the adults died. The children were taken back to their tribes and were given so many gifts. It is not known how many of the Sentinels have become ill as the result of this science action. It is likely believed that the children would have been passed their disease to the others in the tribes, and surely the results would have been devastating. But the question is, might this experience account for the Sentinels continued their hostility and rejection of outsiders? Although commonly they are described as Stone Age in the media, this is clearly not true. There is no reason to believe these Sentinels have been living their life as the same way for 10,000 years are likely to be in the Andaman. Their ways of life will have changed and adapted time by time, like all people. For instance, they now use metals which was washed up and they took it from the shipwrecks that came nearby and used to tip their arrows. They attracted the international attention in the wake of 2004 Asian tsunami, when a member of the tribe was photographed on a beach, firing arrows at the helicopter which was checking on them.
This is one of the missions that conducted by the Indian government to give them some coconuts and try to befriend to them.
In 1996, the regular missions of dropping gifts stopped. Many officials were questioning about the wisdom of attempting to contact a tribe who were very healthy, who were very content about what actually they have. And they have lived like that for 55,000 years. In the following years, only occasional visits were attempted to be made, and those also came with mixed response. After the tsunami in 2004, officials made 2 visits to check, and that also from a distance. The tribes seemed very healthy and were not suffering at all. And then they declared that there will be no further attempts would be made to contact the Sentinels tribe. But then in 2006, Indian fishermen who has moored the boat near the North Sentinel Island after poaching around were killed when their boat broke loose and drifted to the shore. In November 2018, johnallenchau, an American citizen, was killed by the member of the Sentinels tribe.
On the night of 14 November, he and some fishermen Christians who had agreed to help set out in darkness for North Sentinel, carefully avoiding Coast Guard's vessels. Their journey was illuminated by glowing plankton. Chow rowed, and around them fish jumped like darting mermaids. They reached North Sentinel late at night.
Next morning, 15 November, he made his first approach. The fisherman refused to go any further to the island. So he stripped on his underwear. He thought that it would make the sentinels were more at ease, and paddled the kayak towards the shore. He saw a hut and some dugout canoes. As he paddled up to the beach, several sentinels with faces painted yellow, speaking of a language with high-pitched sound, were rushing out. "My name is John," he shouted from his kayak, and he said that I love you and Jesus loves you. When the islander began stringing their arrows, he panicked. He threw towards them some fish that he had brought before as a gift. And then, according to his diary that he had written, "I turned and paddled like I have never had in my life." Later that day, he made another attempt, and this time he landed on the island. He laid out more gifts, and then he approached the hut that he was chased from earlier. Staying out of the arrow range, about half of dozen sentinels emerged and began to whoop and shout. He walked closer to try to listen to actually what they were saying. Even he tried to parrot back what they were saying. And the sentinels were burst out laughing. Well, actually it's like quite friendly gesture, if I can say. But then he concluded that the sentinels were actually saying bad words towards him, and when he was saying back that to them, they were laughing. He sang worship song and he tried to read from the Bible. For a while, they seemed to tolerate his presence. Then a boy started to shoot him with arrow, and the arrow came struck to the Bible that he was holding. What he did, he pulled it out and he gave it back to the boy. But then he was treated hastily. They were taking his kayak, so he was forced to swim back almost a mile to his boat. That night he wrote in his diary that he was afraid. "You guys might think I'm crazy," he wrote to his family, "but I think it's worth to declare Jesus to these people." So who is actually this johnallenchau, and why he dared to enter the North Sentinel? A little bit background of johnallenchau.
Chow was born in Alabama but grew up in Vancouver, near the beauty of the Pacific Northwest. He was raised by a Chinese father, a psychiatrist, and an American mother, an attorney, with two siblings. As a child, he was consumed by two passions that became increasingly intertwined: outdoor adventure and Jesus Christ. Chau was raised in a Christian home, and his family appear to have been members of the Assemblies of God, an international Pentecostal church. He attended Vancouver Christian High School. A natural overachiever, he thrived. He threw himself into clubs, charities, and other extracurriculars. In the Royal Rangers, a Pentecostal scouting organization, he achieved a gold medal. One of the medal's requirements is reading or listening to the entire Bible. He loved hiking, camping, and also traveling.
And he meticulously documented all of his exploration to the social media. On Facebook, he was fond of quoting this Jim Elliot, one of 5 missionaries who was killed by a tribe in Ecuador in 1956. In 2015 and 2016, he took 4 trips to visit this Andaman island, made contacts with the local Christian community in that island, but then he didn't set out to the North Sentinel. So coming back to the story that he was afraid and everybody was thinking that he would come back, stopped his attempt to visit the North Sentinel, but then he decided he would make his next attempt without the fishing vessels nearby. He thought appearing alone would make the sentinels feel a bit easy on him and more comfortable. And if the approach went badly, this would spare the fishermen from having to bear witness of my death. It was so sad, right, to read this. And he has written this all in his journey through social media. And his diary makes it clear that he didn't want to die, but he accepted that possibility of dying. He said that, "I think I could be more useful alive." Shortly after dawn on 16 November, the last day where he was seen alive, John asked the fishermen to drop him off alone. He knew the risk, but the North Sentinel people were damned, and he was determined to save them. So on 18 November 2018, he was announced dead by the government. So this story has made it clear and clearer that the people from that tribe, the Sentinels, do not want any contact from the outsiders. I believe this story might give us some insights that maybe if you have thought to visit, please don't. So that's all from me today, guys, and see ya. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.